Okay, let's talk about giants now. They're a rising topic right now, and this is awesome because truth is being revealed to everyone right now in this time of truth and this age of Aquarius. And I'm seeing more videos, more people talking about giants, and more people being accepting of giants, is the word I'm trying to get out. Now, giants really destroyed Darwinism and evolution because we're supposed to have, evolved and come from monkeys, which is hilarious and stupid and just is really the whole foundation of that, to take power away from us and take the specialness away from us. But we know about giants. I mean, they're in our culture still to this day. Look at these football teams: Tennessee Titans, the New York Giants. They just randomly came up with those names. No, they found loads of giant skeletons, 9 to 12 feet tall skeletons, in these areas, and they find them all over the plane. They're everywhere. I mean, from Florida to the Southwest, Arizona. I mean, you even find them in, just off the top of my head, Romania, the Buchigi Mountains. I mean, they found skeletons like 12 to 15 foot tall, and Dacia, or whatever. It cannot be called Dacia anymore. The Vatican made sure that, I don't know why, but they won't allow that. But anyways, giants are extremely important, especially, or most commonly talked about now, are red-haired giants, for getting rid of this junk Darwinism, all right? And they'll say that Darwinism, it's like, yeah, they still believe in giants, the Gigantopithecus, or all this stuff. It's like, the reason why destroys Darwinism is because, one, we didn't come from monkeys, didn't come from apes, didn't evolve from that. I actually believe we've devolved. We're the smallest, most pathetic we've ever been. But you got to hit rock bottom before you can go all the way back up to the very top, right? You got to hit your lowest low before you can hit your highest high. So that's fine. It's perfect. But it's also so important because it destroys the timeline of this 60 million, 200 million year junk that the dinosaurs would be this millions of years. And a lot of these giants, even these giant animals, really have been around in the past few hundred years. They're not that old. We made sure to just hunt them to extinction with something that people are familiar with in the late 1800s, early 1900s, of the big game hunting. We have tons of movies about the big game hunting where we make it seem really cool, where they're just going and kill these giant lions and giant elephants and stuff. And giant in the sense that not that big, but just a little bit bigger than usual. No, they were much larger than that, and for all animals. They were wiping out any mythological creatures, and it was being funded by the Smithsonian. Why else would the Smithsonian put out a bounty for a 150-foot snake? That sounds like a dragon to me. They were putting out bounties for all these different animals and getting them just wiped out, and people were getting paid to do it. So they were incentivized to wipe out this basically history of these giant creatures that are now considered mythological. In the movie The Giver, they're playing with a little stuffed animal with the child, right? And it's an elephant, and they call it a hippopotamus, a hippo, and they say it has 5 legs that can run really fast, and they called it a mythological creature. Now, we know hippos and elephants right now. We know they exist, but in their world, in the movie The Giver, right, they had gone through a great war, and then people had forgotten everything. Everything is now hidden from them. Well, since elephants and hippos were not in their current day, that is now gone to mythical. It's now a mythical creature, a fantasy creature. That's what happens with all creatures that are no longer around at this time. Even if they were around 100 years ago, they are now, they're gone, so now they're mythological. I mean, there are so many instances of dragons. I mean, Marco Polo talks about him in his exploration through China, and you see dragons on so many coat of arms and flags. Why is that? They must just really like the way a dragon looks. And then, I mean, back to the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian is the ones that do this hiding for us, and then they collect these bones and just they disappear. Not the Smithsonian, but they they're just gone. Like, we don't know where those bones are at anymore. They just show up, and there was no laws against taking. There's no law against taking bones, especially when it comes to like mummies. I mean, the excavation that the Smithsonian did with the mummies all throughout the Southwest. I mean, that is very interesting stuff as well. I mean, the oldest mummies you'll find in the world, they come from the Southwest of America, not over there in Egypt. You know where you find the largest skeleton of a horse? California, 60 foot tall. I'm not gonna post one after the other, but because you can go look this up for yourself, but I'm just gonna put it out there. 60 foot tall horse. And in California, right? This is actually California, America in general. This is where horses actually originate from. They weren't just brought over from Europe. And the guy who started the Smithsonian, Mr. Smithsonian, you look, take a little look more into that guy, what he believed in, and if that doesn't pique your interest as to what the Smithsonian was actually doing, their purpose, then I don't know what to tell you. And like I was saying about the flags, right? The dragon on the flag. I mean, just think of flags in general. How many of them have the colors red, white, and blue, just in different patterns or different angles and stuff like that? I mean, it's like saying without saying it. Come on, it's so obvious. They're all connected. The UN, you think the UN is new? It's just their most recent face, and they made sure to clean up their act and put out a nice clean face so we can all not think that they're this one universal, I don't know, universal, but I mean like very large entity that's been running for so long. I mean, look at the Antarctic Treaty, right? Let's go back a couple of decades. The Antarctic Treaty, we signed with Russia during the Cold War. We were supposed to be, as America, at odds with Russia at this time, and we signed an Antarctic Treaty. Why does that land over there matter? Why did we just decide, yeah, that's off limits, we're fighting each other, but that's off limits? Sure, it had nothing to do with like biochemical warfare or anything like that. That area, off limits. No, it's because they're all in the same squad, they're all on the same side. The Empire, there's a reason Star Wars, everyone is drawn to it. It's a resonation, a subconscious truth that you're connecting with. The Empire's been around for a long time. I mean, you go look at some of the American wars, American Revolution, and wars like that, Civil War. The other countries that were coming in to help America, or even being the opposite, like, they were all using the same tailor. You know, like the French uniforms, the French and Indian War, the French uniforms, the American uniforms, the British uniforms, even the Russian uniforms, they were all the same uniforms, just different colors. Oh, well, that sounds like the flag thing again. Just change up the color a little bit, and we're like, oh, that's different. I mean, come on here. Read between the lines. So anyways, to bring it back to the beginning, this whole getting rid of the evolution theory of Darwinism, right? It's so important that that narrative is kept. And the reason being is because it makes us think that we are the smartest we've ever been right now with all of our technology. And that means that the people in the past are dumber, and we're just hunter-gatherers, or just surviving, and they had no idea of the world around them, which is just ridiculous. I mean, of course, these guys weren't inside all day. They were more connected with nature. They had more idea of what was going on in the sky and the stars. They tracked all this stuff. They were aware of what they were living on, which, hint, that changed in the 1940s, 1950s. Operation High Jump, whatever. They knew what they were living on. They knew they knew what they were dealing with, and they were much smarter, much bigger than we are now. And we think we're so smart. That's the core component of Darwinism. We have evolved to be the smartest we are possibly right now. So we can have smarter beings back then, smarter people, bigger people. But when you start really looking into ancient history, you'll see that these guys were way smarter, bigger than us, and way more wise. They were vegetarian. Whenever it comes to philosophers, you know, people that we actually still study to this day, they were all vegetarians. and they were just much more aware. I mean, we know of civilizations that existed back then that were more advanced than ours. Like, people have heard of Atlantis now, and the Lemuria is becoming a more commonly known one as well. And there's plenty more. I mean, cities are built upon cities upon cities upon cities. There's a reason why. I mean, people like certain locations. There's these energy centers, these ley lines that everyone knows about as well. That's where you find a lot of churches and military bases built on top of those too. A little weird. But yeah, these older civilizations that could be way smarter than us. Well, that can't happen with Darwinism. You can't have Atlantis with superior technology. Flying using magnetic levitation, maglev, which we're just rediscovering right now, with Darwinism. But yeah, look into red-haired giants, the 9 to 12-foot giants. You'll start to see all over the plain, spread out in different spots, and that'll lead you down another rabbit hole. But that's on you. I'm only here to present the information. I'm not here to change your mind. The only person that can change your mind is yourself. So I present a conflicting narrative, and then you check it out yourself. Do the work yourself. It's the only person that can convince yourself. That's it.